And of course the motorcycle has to go by as soon as I hit the start button. Hello! I don't know that there's anyone here. I don't think I actually have it set up so that I can see if there's anyone here. But, hello if anyone is here. This is just a test stream. I don't know if my audio levels are good or anything. But that's what the stream is all about, is I'm trying to figure out if I have everything set up properly. I think I do, but I don't know if it's gonna actually work the way I think it is. So a lot of this is just for me to look back on and critique for my own purposes. But I have my mic set up and everything, so that's good. Probably gonna have to change my setup a bit. As you can see, there is a closet full of random stuff just right behind me. So probably gonna try to angle my camera a little bit differently, see if I can maybe get an angle without all that going on. It looks like I've got the window set up correctly for Clip Studio Paint and everything, and that's the important part. So, yeah. Just kind of talking at myself now. Just blathering a little bit. Yeah. So, I don't really have much to work on right now. Probably don't have a terribly good connection, just because I do not have an Ethernet cable plugged directly into my laptop right now. But, that's something I might be able to do in the future. The office actually has the worst Wi-Fi of the entire house, ironically. So currently the only Ethernet cable is plugged into the other computer in here and not my laptop, like I said. But hopefully this is working just fine. It usually works fine for all my purposes, and I did just download probably like 30 gigs worth of music over the past couple of hours, because I have a bunch of royalty-free music that I've purchased over a span of time, and since I'm going to be streaming and stuff, I figured that I should get that downloaded so that I can actually use it for things. I also downloaded a video editor because I would like to get back to making YouTube videos, but I don't really want to have to edit all of them on my iPad, especially because I have an Android phone now, as opposed to the iPod that I used to use for everything. So, which size difference on these puppies is considerable. I was used to using this, I believe, 7th gen iPod Touch, and this was my primary device for everything. It did not have a SIM card because it was an iPod, not an iPhone. But back when I had this, I had a flip phone. That was my primary cell phone. And I used this for recording all of my live action footage for YouTube stuff. It got the job done. Didn't work terribly great, but one of the things that I liked about it was that I was able to just airdrop all of my footage straight to the iPad for editing an iMovie on the bigger screen. But now I would kind of like to use my better camera, and I'm sure there are some kind of fairly easy ways for me to transfer things to the iPad for editing, but I figured it would be easier if I just tried to move all my footage just to the laptop for editing purposes. So, we'll see. We'll see. I'm kind of just trying to figure out how I want to do everything, because it's been a while, and this is the first time I'm really trying to dip my toes back into video stuff after moving. Like, I've made some speed paints, but those were essentially just speed paints with some music over the top, no voiceover or anything. And if I can edit things on the laptop, like I'm hoping to, I'd be able to do voiceovers and, like, talk to camera bits a lot easier, because I can just use my built-in webcam. The video quality on the built-in webcam isn't stupendous, but I feel like you can get away with so-so video quality if you have decent audio quality. And I have a Blue Yeti mic. This is the mic that Zelda the Hobbit used to use for all of her streams, if you are familiar with my sister. But I moved to a different state, and both of us got married and moved to our own houses. So she has since gotten her own mic, I believe. I know she was planning to. I don't know if that actually wound up happening, but yeah. So now I've got this one here, and I can do whatever I want with it. And I don't know what I want to do with it aside from just record stuff. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing, guys. I've been rambling for 8 minutes. Rambling. Let's take a look at what I got pulled up here in Clip Studio Paint. So this is the cover for the next issue of the Pumpkin Sells Real Estate. I haven't gotten any finalized pages just yet, but the cover is done, and this is going to start posting in September, which is pretty exciting. But I'm trying my best to make sure that I have a really big buffer before this actually starts getting posted in a few weeks. And I figured I should go ahead and get this prepped for all the final print formatting stuff. It was pretty much there already. It was just still the full 11 by 17 size. And I am essentially just copying it into the template that I have and cutting off the top and bottom, because I usually print at 7 by 10 for the Pumpkin Sells Real Estate whenever it goes to paperback or anything, and all of the PDF files for the individual issues are done at 7 by 10 now. So this red border here is just sort of to tell me the safe zone for when I print these through Amazon's KDP thing. And yeah, I like to just post things into this file that I've made. It's just the Pumpkin Cells Real Estate print page template 7x10 trim. And it has this danger zone marked here. This includes both the trim line and the margins because I've had so much trouble with that I just don't even let anything go into the margins anymore pretty much, because that has set me back literal months on projects before. And then I also have just my default vector for series text, and all of the dialogue is just this balloon copy-pasted over and over again and adjusted to my needs. I know a lot of mainstream letterers actually have a ton of preset balloons that they copy-paste for every situation, but I don't really have a style guide for that. I am sort of just meandering my way along, making it up as I go. But after about 16 issues, I've got an approach that works pretty well for me. Clip Studio Paint's lettering engine doesn't work amazingly, but it gets the job done, and I think it gives decent results if you use it correctly. But since this is a cover, we don't need a text layer, and since we're not doing any lettering or anything, since I already baked all of the lettering into this TIFF file here for transferring purposes, we can turn off the Danger Zone guide, and look at that! The cover is ready to go. So, click back over here. Let's see. Well, hello! Welcome, welcome. We actually do have someone over here. I have not set it up correctly so that I can see any chat stuff whenever I am in Clip Studio Paint. That is something that I should look into fixing. But thank you. I appreciate that. The coloring style is something that I have struggled with a lot, but I think that it looks really nice, and for some reason on a lot of the earlier covers, like, I just did like flat colors. I don't know if I can pull one of those up here, but like, even just a few issues ago, like on issue 14, I did some blending and stuff, but this is pretty much just like cell shading happening here. Like, there's some blending, but I don't know why I wasn't making the coloring style reflect the actual interior pages, because the interior pages look so much better, in my opinion, than just this flat, smooth coloring. But I don't know. For some reason, I just rushed through the covers a lot of the time, because this coloring style is a lot faster than this coloring style, but this looks way better and also reflects what the interior pages look like, so I don't know, guys. But yeah, like I said, I don't really have much planned for this stream. This is just sort of me testing to see how everything worked, or if anything worked. I thought it would, but I wasn't sure. I've set up a bunch of different templates and things for streaming, but I don't know if they all actually are going to work the way that I want them to. Because I got this start screen, which I'm not totally sold on it. I might swap that out for something else. But I just kind of slapped it together using a few images that I already had done. This is just my face jump scare. This really shows off how grainy the camera is. Oh, if I wind up streaming a lot, I should probably look into getting an actual, like, external decent webcam. But I'm trying to do this just with everything that I have on hand already. So, you know, we're just using the built-in laptop webcam. We also have a be right back screen. I feel like this is gonna get a lot of use if I stream more, just because I have a cat who loves to jump on my face whenever I'm trying to do anything at my desk. And then We got a cute little end card here. So cute. Probably need to spiff it up a little bit. I should add something about my webtoons on here, because I kind of like how this is laid out, but I think that I should also have something about posting to webtoon there. Although, I got all that there. But I also have some overlays here, like this, that I can just like pop up over there. It's not like the camera is not the direction that I keep thinking, so I have to point the opposite way. But yeah, that's all my comics on Webtoon. Unless you are watching on like full screen on desktop, this is probably really hard to read. But yeah, it's the Pumpkin Sells Real Estate, Lunar the Moon Rabbit, Possums, Queenie Kane, Alley Dragons, Wrong About the Stars, The Penny Farthing Mystery Club, Go for Rich, Little Lady and the Misadventures, Aces, and the Heyday Kids, which this also, it's so tiny, but I also include age ratings and little notes on whether each of the comics is completed or if it's on hiatus or something, but the ones that are just ongoing are not marked with anything. Which currently the only ones that are technically not on hiatus are Little Lady and the Misadventures, Possums, and the Pumpkin Sells Real Estate. Everything else is just... I have too many comics, guys. This is why I'm trying to focus on like 1 or 2 right now. Sorry. Trying to focus on just a couple so that I can get around to finishing some of them. Because I had a really hard time sticking with comics for a while. But I'm almost done with the 2nd volume of the Pumpkin Sells Real Estate. And Possums, I'm hoping I will be able to make the rest of the series by the end of this year. Little Lady and the Misadventures doesn't really have a defined ending, so that one I don't think I'll ever consider ended. But I also haven't posted a Little Lady strip in a long time, because I just have not had the time to make any strips for that. Possums, I have actually made a few new comic strips for it, and I actually am planning to post one in the next week or so. So if you like Possums, keep an eye out for that. But I am so sorry to everyone who is enjoying things like Wrong About the Stars, because that is still on hiatus. Oops. But that's the webtoon ad. I got distracted talking about it. And then I also have this little sweepy thing. Just find my books on Amazon. I actually have more than this on Amazon, but if you search Lissy Dixon on there, or if you just search the titles of most of these, they will pop up. So yeah, I think the only book that's not shown here is Circadia, but there's deluxe editions of both the Pumpkin Sells Real Estate and Lunar the Moon Rabbit now. So those aren't shown here, but they turned out pretty cool and they have different covers. So yeah. Finally some more good comics to binge read. Aw, well thank you. I like to think my comics are good, but some of them I look back on and it's like, oh, I could have done better on that, but I try to not redo stuff so much anymore. A couple of them, like the Heyday Kids, unfortunately, even though I've made like 5 issues of that one, I do have to actually go back and remake that one like from the start, because the pages, for one, I have lost a bunch of files for that series, which is a major problem, but I also just flat out made them in the wrong scale anyway, so they're literally not even printable. Like, it is way easier to just make brand new versions of the pages. it's better to just make the pages again from scratch than try to salvage the old ones, which is pretty sad considering how long I worked on the Heyday Kids. But I've remade the first couple updates of that one, so you know, that gives you sort of a taste of what the new version's gonna look like compared to the old one. But that is one that whenever I clear my schedule a bit more, since it is just like a one volume type deal, I do plan to prioritize that one. So yeah, if you like the Heyday Kids, you can look forward to that, hopefully by next year. Which, that sounds like a long time away, but it's already August. So, they are good. I'm currently reading through the Pumpkin Sells Real Estate. Well, thank you! That one does seem to be the fan favorite, and the longer I work on it, the more I'm beginning to feel like it's one of my favorites. Just because, for some reason, the Goofy Pumpkin Man comic has really let me just write some of my most heartfelt scenes ever, which is so weird. Like, issue 17. Like, this was supposed to be like a comedy comic, and issue 17 is just like, what happened here? Why is this just all like heartfelt life stuff? What happened there? But it's still a funny comic at times, and just the premise is funny, is that there's a pumpkin man selling real estate, and also the title of the comic makes it so easy to give an elevator pitch. Is I can just be like, this comic is called The Pumpkin Sells Real Estate. It is what the title says, but there's also other stuff too. So, but there's the Amazon book ad thing. I'm not sold on how that looks, especially over the Clip Studio Paint interface. I'm probably gonna adjust that overlay a little bit, but yeah. So that's all of the different little things that I've designed for it so far. I'm probably gonna design more, but I haven't streamed in so long that I don't even remember what kind of overlays I even need. Just based off of how, like, past streams have been, I don't think that I'm ever going to include, like, a chat overlay on screen. Like, I would probably just have it in my own private window that doesn't show up on screen, because I have had people come on and just kind of say whatever's on their mind. It's like, okay, I kind of wish Automod had caught that, but it is what it is. Would buy real estate from him? Honestly, me too. I kind of wish that I had him as a real estate agent, because even though I just moved over to this house at like the end of last year, we're looking at moving. Just looking around trying to find a place that's outside of busy city, because we live in a pretty busy subdivision. It's loud. It's also just an expensive area to live in. But I would love to just have Pumpkin Man real estate agent. That would honestly make the process so much more fun. Part of the problem, though, is that writing a comic about a real estate agent when you're shopping real estate stuff, it just gets a little too real sometimes, you know? It's just, you gotta take a step back at times. Anyway, I sometimes feel like I could have included more real estate in the comic than I did, but just the way that the story actually developed after I wrote like the first 3 or so issues, it just kind of wound up being like a background detail to him. I feel like we don't actually see Lantrell doing his job much. We see Yumi doing her job all of the time. That's pretty much the only place we see her most of the time. But Lantrell's like maybe once every 4 issues we see him doing his job. It's like, come on, buddy, that's in the title. How do I want to do this? Because, I'm trying to think about how I want to put together the thumbnail for, the next issue. But I kind of want to just, like, scoot them closer, so I wonder if I can just kind of copy, create new from clipboard. My music is probably wildly inconsistent, and I apologize for that, but I have not quite figured out how I want to do the music yet, so. Okay, so the noise texture actually does kind of hide the seam pretty nicely. So I don't think I can get him much closer than that without doing more noodling. Okay, yeah, I am on the wrong there. Nice. So do a little bit of that. Duplicate that again. And then go up here. And crop. And now I think that works well enough for the thumbnail for the next issue. So, because some things with my thumbnails, I just have to compress them more and do some clever editing. Because, like, I could have made the thumbnail like something like that. But when you zoom way out on like Webtoon, how it's actually going to show up as the thumbnail, that's just so tiny and zoomed out. And this is still going to be kind of tiny and zoomed out, and you're not going to be able to see the details terribly well. But you're going to see it a lot better than that. The red line in the middle actually helped me line them up so easy. It's a good cover, I feel like. It represents the issue well. It's a pretty simple cover though. But at this point, you know, 17 issues into the series, I'm not thinking anyone's going to start in at issue 17, especially not the way I release my comics. It's kind of hard for people to start at issue 17. It's much easier to start at the start, at issue 1. But yeah, so this issue isn't really meant to bring in new readers. It's really meant to more convey to longtime readers or, you know, people who have read through up to this point. It's meant to sort of give them an idea of the tone of the next issue. It's not really meant to impress anyone too much. Rename it to The Pumpkin Sells Real Estate sometimes. Honestly, a way more accurate title. The Pumpkin Sells Real Estate sometimes, because I got too caught up in the plot. I got lost in the sauce with him going around trying to help everyone improve their lives. But yeah, it's kind of weird drawing his dad, because 17 issues into the series, his dad has only been in like 2 issues, I think. That sounds right. I can't remember for sure though. I think his dad is in like issue 13 and 3 maybe. I can check my files here. Let's see that. Yes, there is the flashback in issue 13, and then issue 3 is the Christmas backstory. So pretty sure his dad has only actually been on panel in 2 issues, and they're like 10 issues apart. So, but he's actually going to be like on panel, not in a flashback this issue, which is crazy to me. Especially because I feel like a lot of people just kind of don't know what to expect from his dad. I've kind of known what's going on with his dad since, like, the 3rd issue, because, funny story, I wrote the first 2 issues kind of with no idea where the plot was going. Looks like my music has ended already. Wow. Great job, me. Let's just, add that back there. Hit play again. I haven't collected up enough music to stream for more than half an hour, apparently. So I'm gonna have to keep collecting up more songs for that. But anyway, the first 2 issues of the comic were written sort of without a clear idea of where the plot was going, and I think you can kind of tell that by how the first couple issues feel a little disjointed from the rest, I feel like, and they don't really match. They don't feel like they're working towards much. They lay a few seeds, but they don't really contribute to the overall plot a ton. The first issue, that's totally fine, because we're really just meeting Lantrell and sort of giving a little taste of his day-to-day life. But the second issue, when I made it, it was actually split into 2 issues. I'm not sure if I have those on my laptop right now, but I think I do. So issue 1 was actually only 15 pages long, which a conventional comic issue is at least 20 pages long usually, oftentimes like 24. And then issue 2 was split into a like 6-page long mini story, and then like a 9-page long follow-up. So it was just, yeah, the way I wrote it was really strange. But issue 3 with the Christmas issue, I feel like that was when I actually started developing a lot of ideas for the series. And let me see if I can pull up a page real quick. Like this page here, this was specifically this top panel here was the most proud I had been of anything that I made up to this point in the series. And this issue and this scene specifically, where I kind of introduced this idea of like there's something going on here with like Lantrell's mom being upset and them saying that they have to figure something out. That laid seeds that sort of gave me a point to write from and introduce actual plot lines that go somewhere. The art school thing in issue 2 did also have potential for that, and that actually became a really important part as I wrote more of the series. But yeah, it's just a fun fact about the Pumpkin Cells Real Estate is I did not plan for it to be a 3-volume series. I wrote the first like 2 issues being like, haha, this is fun, and then I was like, okay, wait, no, I need a plot. I need to go somewhere with this because a lot of people are actually quite interested. So when I sat down and started writing a plot, it just kept getting longer and longer and longer. But now I've gotten the plot pretty much all ironed out. There's a few little bits that I need to smooth out some more. But yeah, it's a pretty long series now, and I feel like if I hadn't have just started in with the goofy plan of not really going anywhere with it for the first 2 issues, I don't think that the series would have gotten to be what it is now. I feel like I would have probably leaned into the comedy elements a lot more, but I don't think that I would have gone nearly as deep with the emotional threads and stuff that I tend to go with now. Yeah. Just me blathering about the comic. It is kind of weird making a comic about a pumpkin guy when my main thing is superhero comics, actually. I'm not sure that a lot of people who read the Pumpkin Sells Real Estate actually know that much about my superhero stuff, but this isn't as much of a superhero comic, but Alley Dragons, I feel like, is much more representative of the kind of stuff that I usually write, as opposed to the Pumpkin Sells Real Estate. But Aces and the Heyday Kids are my 2 main superhero stories that I've released so far. I have way more, but those are the 2 that I've actually produced a fair bit of pages for. But they did not perform well. And unfortunately, I was not at a point in my life where I could keep making them if they didn't perform well. I needed stuff that was actually going to interest people and bring in some money. And Lunar the Moon Rabbit wound up being that for a long time, for a couple of years. And then the Pumpkin Sells Real Estate took off, and that's been the main money-making comic. And over the course of making the Pumpkin Sells Real Estate, I've gotten to a point in my life where I can afford to work on things that don't make me as much money, or any money, for, as the case may be, for Aces and the Heyday Kids. But now I feel like I have a lot of responsibility with the Pumpkin Sells Real Estate, having like 25,000 subscribers currently. I feel like it's sort of my duty at this point to see that story through before I start jumping off onto other stories and prioritizing them. And the art for Aces and the Heyday Kids is a bit more involved, so I can't really do it to the side like I can for things like Possums or Go for Rich even. Very quick to make pages for that one. And so I feel like my responsibility now is just to finish some of my more well-received comics before I start trying to work on more of my passion projects. Because I've always been a superhero lover at heart. I have a lot of comic books, and I love making superhero comic books. That is what got me going into comics, really. Was superhero stuff. My first comic books that I read were actually not superhero comics. The things that got me into reading comics were Dick Tracy comics that my oldest brother had left behind whenever he moved out, and Winx Club comics. Those were what got me into making comic books. But X-Men Evolution and Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes were like my 2 favorite shows ever as I was a kid. So I figured out that those characters existed in the comic medium as well, which is kind of funny that I didn't know that that was where they were originally from. But then I sort of forayed my way into reading superhero comics and fell in love. But, you know, it's hard to find ones that are really, you know, there's a lot of content in superhero comics these days, mainly mainstream ones. They do have a lot of content. Because, as said in chat here, I enjoy superhero stories, I just haven't read a lot of them recently because I always have so much swearing. Yes. And, I feel like there's like ebbs and flows of what sort of language is allowed in a lot of comics, but I feel like right now we're really going through sort of a loose period with what they allow. So there's a lot of sexual content and a lot of language in a lot of, a lot of the mainstream superhero stuff. And there's also just, like, lots of blood. Lots and lots of blood. Which, my superhero stories have a bit of blood and stuff, but I don't go, like, gratuitous with it. There are some times where I probably make it unrealistic, the amount of blood there is, or rather the amount of blood there isn't, because I get queasy pretty easily. So generally if there's blood in any of my stuff, I don't color it red, I color it black, because that makes me not get sick when drawing it. But like generally I kind of censor that a lot still. Which is, it's tricky, because sometimes with superhero comics, it comes with the territory. It's really hard to make a superhero comic that doesn't have at least a little bit of blood in it, if you're trying to be whatsoever realistic. It's not necessarily. You can make superhero comics without any blood. It's just, if you're writing for an older audience, sometimes people kind of be like, well, that doesn't really make sense for that type of injury, but okay, sure, why not? They don't have to bleed at all. But, I'm trying to pull up some pages of Queenie Kane. This is one of my favorite series that I've come up with in recent years, but I think this technically counts as a superhero comic. In my mind, it wasn't really, but the more I think about it, the more it kind of is a superhero comic by default. But it's this one is, pretty family friendly. Like Aces and the Heyday Kids, they're not like inappropriate necessarily, but the plot lines definitely are written for older audiences, whereas Queenie Kane is really, it draws a lot from its inspirations of like Mega Man, Sonic the Hedgehog, Astro Boy, oh man, even things like Danny Phantom and Kim Possible were big influences. So it's very much a supposed to be like, kid-friendly action cartoon vibes, if you're familiar with any of that kind of stuff. But it's definitely one of the quicker series to make, and I'm hoping to try to get a volume of it done in a couple of years. But I've had to be a lot more realistic with the way that I plan out my work, because I used to be able to make so much stuff so fast, but my health has just gone way downhill in recent years. So it's slow going at times, but it's kind of nice to be able to sort of lean back and just allow myself to go slower. I apologize that this has just been an all over the place ramble, but I'm just enjoying talking. And yeah, this has been a good test, I think, for my setup. Kind of helps me figure out how things work. But it is 10 o'clock where I am, so I probably should start winding down. But I'm hoping to do more streams in coming weeks. Ideally, I want to do streams where I'm doing things like lettering comics, because I feel like that would be an easy thing to sort of have going on in the background while I'm streaming. I don't know if there's a good way for me to stream my iPad with the setup that I want to use. I can stream directly from my iPad, I just don't like the way that that works. But hopefully I will be able to do streams where I'm actually doing more and having a more structured conversation, because I've just been talking the entire time pretty much nonstop and saying a whole lot of nothing. But yeah, I'll take a sip of water real quick. Yeah, I guess I should start winding down here. So I'm gonna have to watch back through the stream and see how everything worked, but I think I've gotten, like, having music in the background, I think I've gotten that figured out. I just need to find more music to have queued up, because I found like exactly 30 minutes worth of music, which is not enough because I usually stream for at least an hour at a time when I'm streaming. This is a shorter stream. It's only gonna be like 50 minutes, but whatever. Yeah, so thanks for tuning in and letting me check things out. I need to do a lot of tuning things up, because I did have a Twitch channel that I used to use on occasion, but when I switched phones, I lost access to my old Twitch account due to two-factor authentication, which is why I hate using phone numbers for two-factor authentication. I would much rather use alternative methods to a phone. Like, I understand it's a safe way to do the authentication, but as someone who for the longest time did not have a smartphone, I had a flip phone, and then when I finally got a smartphone, wasn't able to access everything for two-factor authentication after the fact when I switched phones. It just caused a lot of problems. So yeah. But the point I was trying to make there, I lost the thread rambling about two-factor authentication. I apologize, I'm just all over the place tonight. But the thing is, I used to have a channel that I would stream to on occasion, but I lost access to it at like the beginning of the year. So it's been many months since I messed with any Twitch stuff, and I have just entirely forgotten what all I need for everything. So it's gonna be a learning process, but hopefully I will be able to get some good help with that. I am also developing the hiccups, so I should probably end the stream before that gets out of hand. But thank you again for stopping by, hanging out. And hopefully I will do another stream that's not like after 9 o'clock. But yeah, I try to share in my Discord server and post in promo channels on other servers and stuff when I'm planning to go live. So hopefully next time I will have a more interesting stream to share. But for now, thank you for stopping by. I appreciated the company. I hope you have a blessed night yourself. And I guess I should pop up and do my little closing spiel. I'll just pop that up again for anyone who may be lurking. I don't know that there are any lurkers, but just in case, if you tuned in after I shared this overlay. I publish a lot of comics. Some of them are completed, some of them are still in progress, but you can find pretty much all of them on Webtoon Canvas. You can search for Godsent Comics and that'll bring it up. Or, let's see here, I think I actually have a command set up. I'm not sure if this works, because I haven't tested this yet, but I forgot. I think I need to permit Stream Elements to send links, because apparently Automod caught that. Nice. So, the way that's supposed to work is it's supposed to pop up a link to my Webtoon account so that you can just click that link and find all of my webtoons in one spot. But anyway, so yeah, search Godsend Comics on Webtoon if you want to read any of my other stuff. I have a slew of different things because I make way too much stuff. And if comics aren't necessarily your thing, I also make novels. Martin and Marie is a full-length historical romance. It's like a coming-of-age story and stuff. Not my best work, but it is my debut full-length novel. So it's pretty cool. And if you'd like to try something a little bit shorter, I have an allegorical novelette, very short story, like less than 40 pages, I think, called Circadia, which is also available in print on Amazon. So if you search Lissy Dixon, you should be able to find my stuff. But yeah, you can also get a lot of my comics. Gotta point that way at my print stuff. But you can also get a lot of my comics in print too, and I'm always coming up with new stuff and publishing more books. But yeah, so I guess for now, that's good night and goodbye. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Take care and God bless.